Hello everybody on the beautiful website of YouTube, this is your Uncle Girl coming here, and today I'm reviewing the controversial horror slash thriller slash drama directed by Darren Aronosky, who's back again. The movie is Mother. In the movie Mother, we follow Jennifer Lawrence and Javier Bardem, who's playing a couple who's living peacefully and alone out on the countryside, but suddenly their own little bubble starts to pop when strangers pop in, and let's just say it kind of goes slowly downhill for their relationship. And yeah, what the fuck is going on in this movie? This movie is so off when it comes to how characters act and react, and it is twisted, it is shocking, and it's unpredictable. So unpredictable as films can go, really. And I thought it was an experience. I thought it was a truly great experience. This is a movie, I understand if you don't like it, but I don't think you should bash it. I think many people have been bashing this movie to shreds for reasons I think is a little bit too harsh. Like, oh, they're just shocking the audience with some fucked up stuff because. Well, in the fact, I don't think it is. I think this is a movie that could be interpreted in many different ways. I think there are very many, theories that could be implemented to what is really going on and what this movie is supposed to be about and what the story and characters symbolizes. I mean, not a big spoiler here, but none of the characters actually have a real name. Let's just get this out of the way. Jennifer Lawrence, is she as dry and boring as she always is? Here's the thing, I don't think Jennifer Lawrence is that boring. I mean, I think she's a good actress. Sure, her characters have been very much on the same page, most of them, so it's been kind of like she's doing it the same thing over and over again, but many actors and actresses do that. But I think this is probably the best Jennifer Lawrence performance, because towards the end, it's very much we're seeing a character that's just been kind of torn apart by what is happening. She doesn't understand a shit what's going on around her, and she doesn't know what to do. And she's just so confused. She is just as confused as we as the audience are, and she doesn't know what to do, and she doesn't know why this is happening. And I feel like that is the best thing about Mother. The whole atmosphere and characters are so off and twisted, and it's meant for us to be like, what the fuck is going on? It's meant for us to be confused about what's happening. We are supposed to feel like, we're supposed to feel a little bit of cringe at times, and we're supposed to wonder, why did he do that? Why is she reacting like, what is she doing? What the fuck is this movie? Because that's what the intention of Darren Aronosky probably is. And the film is very much an artistic film, or an artsy-fartsy project, as some people say. It's pretentious, people have said. Yeah, sometimes this movie maybe goes into a pretentious territory, but I feel like Aronofsky definitely has his points with this movie, and I feel, like I said, this movie could be interpreted in many different ways. It is a movie that is as much or as little as you want it to be. It could be interpreted for plenty of ways. I've seen like 4 or 5 different theories about what this movie is supposed to be about, what it's supposed to symbolize. And I think that's interesting. The movie brings up discussion, it leaves an impact on you, it shocks you, it leaves you thinking, what did I watch, what is it supposed to mean? And I like when movies do that, I really do. And overall, Darren Aronofsky is a fucking great director, even when he's doing, more straightforward stories like The Wrestler, which is one of my absolute favorite films, or Requiem for a Dream, or when he's doing more twisted psychological movies like Black Swan, and now Mother. I will say this, if you didn't like Black Swan and thought that movie was twisted, don't even bother watching Mother, probably, because Mother is Black Swan times 10, basically, when it comes to how psychologic it goes, and how the insanity amps up, I would say. I thought Lawrence and Bardem as a couple also very much worked great, because they kind of has this banter and bite off each other, and you really want them kind of to succeed, but at the same time you feel you don't understand how they could be together, because they are so much on different pages all the time. They don't never really match. You want them to match, you want them to work and actually kind of figure out their situation, but they never really do. And also, of course, that is something that could be talked about more in a spoiler talk about the movie like this, about what it's supposed to represent, more or less. It's a movie that will leave a mark. Whether you like it or not, it's going to be remembered. It's a movie you're not gonna forget easily, and sometimes I think that's just a feat in its own. If a movie has been implemented to you, you remember it. If someone say the title, you will be like, oh my god, I remember that movie, I remember that, and what the fuck was on with that? I think that's a good thing. I really do. And definitely when it comes to a movie like this, that's also a movie that will have reactions from you. It was really shocking at times. You really had those whoa, what the actual fuck moments, and you really had kind of sad, almost melancholic moments, and you also had, you know, just nervous laughter moments, moments there you were laughing simply because you didn't really know how to react otherwise, because it was just so absurd and weird what's actually happening. The bad things about this movie for me was that the third act felt a little bit too long. What happens in the third act is amazing. I think it went into just batshit insanity territory, which I liked. Some people definitely didn't like it. But it feels like it drags on a little too long, and after a specific moment with the third act, I was kind of like done with it. I felt like, okay, now they can wrap it up, but they kind of didn't. And I was like, okay, I guess. Like, it's not super bad. It's not like the biggest gripe I could have with a movie, but it just feels like, sure. The characters aren't necessarily that great when it comes to motivations or how fleshed out they are. They are very much just acting weird to represent something else in the more symbolic sense, which some people of course will not like. It's very much like Blade Runner, like another movie I've reviewed recently, I would say, where simply the characters aren't that, you know, fleshed out. They're almost a little paper thin to represent something bigger in the plot, you know, to support the themes of the story itself. Overall, I thought Mother was a terrific experience. I did love it quite a bit. It definitely took me on an unpredictable, wild ride, and I could not foresee what was happening, and it definitely left a mark, and it definitely left some thoughts in my head, and I really like that. Truly an artistic film, fueled by Aronosky's imagination and will. It will shock, it will upset, and it will confuse. Sometimes that's the beauty of cinema. I'm giving Mother an 8 out of 10. It's definitely a rating that I guess could be bumped up to 9 out of 10 if a rewatch truly turns out to make the movie better. I mean, there's plenty of movies that goes like that. I mean, there are movies that I watched the first time and I've probably been on like a 7 or 8, and then suddenly it's a 10 when I've seen it for the third or fourth time. It all depends on how the movie stands the test of time, but this is a movie that's a lot to take in, and you really have, and since the movie is so open for interpretations, it's kind of like when you find your interpretation you feel is really good, the movie will be better for it, which means that this, like I said, it's as much as you want it to be and as little as you want it to be, which is why some people absolutely hate it, and which is why some people are praising it and saying it's amazing. And I think it's a really great movie. You should definitely try it, at least.
Love means always having to say you're fucking sorry. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe for more. Help the poor guy out. Thanks and boy.